Guys, deluded YouTube's Lucas Torreira. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in and having me, folks. Now, not to go over the same old recycled stories and subjects time and time again, but Aaron Ramsey and his contract business. Now, the only reason I'm making a vid about this is because, like you guys, I've seen online, it's on the Express, it's on about every newspaper and whatnot. It's not big news, but depending on how you look at it, we haven't made any progress in regards to his contract or knowing his future at the club on a long-term basis, because his contract's up in a bit in 2019 and at the end of the season essentially. So apologies, people. So yeah, we kind of need to know where his head's at or what's going to happen. Now, clearly those closer to the matter, i.e. Ramsey, his relevant parties and the club's relevant parties, and I guess the team and people in the know, you might have a look in as to where it's going. Will he stay or will he go? He's 1 minute he's giving positive signs and things like that he wants to stay. But for me personally, in Arsenal's situation, we just about, whether your opinion on those or not, he signed a new deal. The running theme with Alexis and Wilshere and just about everybody, when this club seems to be confident about players signing new contracts, the theme hasn't been good, especially when you considered how the younger sort of players that are running out of contracts are just trying to get out of the club faster than you can say Arsenal, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, and for all the optimism and things like it, I look at it like this: like, do I think Ramsey probably wants to stay? Yes. Do I think he wants to buy into Emery's plans and be here and all of these things? I think yes, but until he's signed, he's gone. In my head, he's gone. Like, if I was the manager, as much as is talking about him, how much he likes him and things like that, of course you count on him in the season, but I'd be thinking, he's not fully committed his contract business. So by that nature, all the aces are in Ramsey's hands. Can I really trust this player? I'm not saying Ramsey's dishonest. I'm not saying Ramsey's not going to put in his all in for the team when he gets a chance. I'm not suggesting that. But if I'm a manager and Emery's thoughts, if I have this player who, yeah, he started against City, he didn't start against Chelsea. Obviously, it's a team game and whatnot, but he never started. Depending on where the season goes, if we go where Arsenal fans would like us to go, great. Ramsey sees that it's an exciting sort of time. But let's just say around January, because if I was Aaron Ramsey, I'll be waiting until January before I sign anything personally. Gauge your interest. You can talk to foreign clubs and things like that. You're eligible to do that. I mean, you've spoken of playing abroad previously a few years ago when you had that goal scoring season. I'm not saying he's going to join Madrid and these sort of sides, but if he's for free, he could. And I mean, his countrymen in Bells, they're bound to be in regular contact, always talking about the club. So he needs to keep his options open. Let's just say, if Arsenal are where they're supposed to be, or in amongst the pack and the race for the top four in January or so, or looking like we're going to get all these things, cool, you sign a new deal. If not, then if I'm him, I'd probably bounce, to be honest with you, because he's 27, as well as thinking that it's your last big contract, unless you go China or something, or unless you're that top bracket player. But you'd like to think, away from the contract stuff and all of that, needing to secure your final payday, you're playing your significant best part of your career, or the best stages of your career that you have left at this club, or XYZ club that you sign a new contract at. So if he does that, and I'm sure he has ambitions to win titles and things like that, if he was to sign a new deal, could you fully bet that Arsenal in the next few years, if he was to, let's just say he's 27, I'd ideally like him to sign a 3-4 year deal. He signs that. Could you guarantee Arsenal are going to be challenging for Champions League like I would like us, even though we can't, challenging for Prem? If you're Aaron Ramsey, if you answer that question yourself, you probably say no, for obvious reasons that our fans can see. I mean, using City as a basis, we're way off them. People are saying Emery needs 2 free transfer windows minimum. Doubtful we're going to do major surgery in January, and would it be really wise to do major surgery in January? By Arsenal standard, we did last January. It wouldn't. So you'd like to think 2-3 summers at transfers. So does Ramsey really have time to stick around for that? And when you consider, yeah, Emery wants you to stay, and one of the first things he did, apart from Mavropanos and Maitland-Niles, was big you up. But if you look at some of his comments, for instance, I got it here. I haven't got it all, but I remember writing it down earlier. How he spoke on Lucas Torreira being a 6 and an 8, Guendouzi being a 6 and an 8, and all them other players. He said the same about Xhaka. But interestingly enough, he said about Ozil, you're an 8. Not Ozil, sorry, Aaron Ramsey, you're an 8 and a 10, which implies that. And he also went on to say something about it depends, more or less, people paraphrasing now, it depends on the game. If we're going to have a more offensive game, he'll probably look to get a player you want. If we've got to be a bit more defensive, you probably won't start. Where if you look at the Chelsea game, that seemed to be the case. Or City, we wanted to ironically be more offensive, so he did start and things like that, and it didn't work. But again, going back into the manager's shoes, if I'm him, if I'm Emery, I don't think I can count on Aaron Ramsey. Like I said, I don't think he's dishonest. I don't think he's not going to play to the best of his ability, regardless of if he's here for the next 3 years or the next couple of months. But these things, whether you want to admit them or not, they're elephants in the room. With every win, with every defeat, Aaron Ramsey, every training session, he's got to be contemplating his future. What if the grass is greener on the other side? What if I want to stay here? Now, this is all hypothetical. Sorry, people. This is all hypothetical to me, people. He might really want to stay at Arsenal, and it might be a case of they're just waiting for an announcement, which I'd hope it to be. I mean, he's been here for a number of years. He's got a young family starting now. He's had a kid a few years ago, and I think he's had another one. And I don't know his future ambitions with his family, and we don't need to know that. But on the basis of stability and being in London and all of these things and setting up shop, maybe you pick a move to Arsenal, or even if you look at the basis of the reports, you moved over the road to London and Chelsea, and you stay local. But no doubt about it is that every ace is in Ramsey's pack. He holds all the aces, or whatever the saying is, because the English transfer window is closed. We can only sell him to abroad. We cannot get a replacement in, depending on, well, you technically can, but they won't be eligible to play in any competition. So we've really shot ourselves in the foot, and again, playing a dangerous game on top of needing to rebuild. And I'm sure you guys can make your own conclusions in regards to the City and Chelsea games we've played. We don't need to be dealing with the rebuild and all of these performances, let alone another contract business, because for the last 2-3 years, there's been somebody's contract up for debate, and we just need to go back to just focusing on football, because you know what's wrong with Arsenal and what's right. I don't need to go into it, even if you support Arsenal or not, you know, innit? But we'll see what happens, man. I just feel with seeing that story, and because our window's closed and the league started, we've kind of, me personally, I don't know about you, look, but I've kind of put that to the back burner sort of thing. Like, it's been at the back of my head. But like I said, it's an elephant in the room, and the longer you leave a bubble, you leave a bubble to develop, when it pops, it's going to be more hurtful. And I really can't understand Arsenal, because if they just want to run as a business, which Kroenke looks like he's on, don't you sell players when you can get the most market value, or decide their futures? But they know what they're doing, allegedly. Guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in.